Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Necromaniacs Horror Podcast. How's it going, Jeff?
It's going. Um,
Yeah, man.
we were just talking about world events before this. So yeah, it's going okay, man. Doing the best I can. How about you?
I'm doing okay. Been super busy.
Yeah.
Bunch of stuff going on with my career.
Which career?
As a mechanical engineer, man, I got a lot
Ah,
of stuff
okay.
going on, like a lot of work related things, a lot of big projects coming in,
All right. Well,
responsibilities, that sort of thing.
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing, man.
All right. All
Yeah.
right.
And also trying to get episodes completed before I head out for like my 5 day run of dates with Tombs and Replicant at the end of the month. So trying
Is
to,
this the first of many little treks, like little pockets of shows here and there,
we
or
got a couple things planned. Uh,
yeah?
yeah, some of the stuff, nothing major, just this 5 day run, and then yeah, like something up in New England, another thing, and nothing. We're not playing Vakken or anything like that this summer, but pretty low key. We're keeping it pretty low key. But
You got a show in Connecticut coming up, and
that's
I
right,
will
man.
be there.
I'm hoping to see you and Randy there. That should be a lot of fun, man.
100%. Not only that, but there's going to be a Necromaniacs Max booth, people. So Mike and I will both be signing Tombs vinyl.
Yeah. So
No, I'm
hopefully
looking
we
forward
get
to it.
hopefully we get like more than two or three people come out for this one. So we'll see.
Yeah, Connecticut's weird, man. Like when I was coming up, there was a huge scene for, music, hardcore, punk, metal, whatever, and it died out. And I hear it's back, but I've been to some shows where they were not well attended, and I've been to some that were, packed, sold out. So I honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's during the week, so who knows?
And it's Connecticut.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'll be there. You
Hey,
know.
I know two people that aren't in my little group of friends that are going. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
They might know some people they can bring with them too. So,
and it's a manic production, and those guys do I think they do a great job. I've been
oh,
to,
actually, you know what? I think, yeah, you're right about that. They gave me a list of bands that they were recommending to be support on there. So they're interested in this. So that's good.
yeah, they do great stuff. It's like I think they did a show for ISIS back in
Yeah,
2006. It was a while ago. So they've been at it a while. They know what they're
yeah.
doing.
Manic Productions have been, yeah, they know how to promote, so that's good. Unlike some of the promoters that, like in Philly, for example, for our show. So,
Oh, really?
well, they were like, they haven't even put anything on their Instagram about the show happening, I thought, which is interesting.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But I do, you know, so we made a trailer and a video trailer for the tour, which we're gonna give to them to be like, hey, put this in your fucking stories or whatever. So back in the day, the promoter would actually promote the show.
Yeah.
They would actually be the ones who made flyers and, little video things like that. And they would actually have an interest in promoting things. Now it's, I guess, your responsibility to do all this stuff.
Yeah, well, in this day and age, you just put it up on your social media stuff, and I guess that's what you can do. But I
Yeah.
certainly remember a lot of my friends promoted shows in Connecticut, and I would go to Kinko's with them seemingly like every other day, making flyers, going to shows to hand out flyers, and
Hmm.
just getting the word out. It's a different game now.
Yeah, I mean, luckily we have a good booking agent who pays attention to shit like this, and he is able to like give us a heads up about stuff like that, and he's
Oh,
like,
good.
well, promoter's not doing a good job on this, and can you guys produce something that can help out? And I was like, yeah, of course. So we're the next couple weeks going to be putting out some stuff like that, like little trailers and Mike G, who's in Replicant and also in Scorpion Throne with me, he's gonna make flyers for each show. So that's gonna be going out to, you know,
Awesome.
yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's like once again, I really have an issue when you have a job description as promotions manager
Hmm.
and you're not doing your job.
Right.
Like I'm
Yeah.
not blaming any. I mean, I know that there's a limited amount of people who probably want to go to the show anyway, but it's like I understand that aspect of it. However, I don't understand not promoting a show that your venue is doing. You know, not even putting anything on your Instagram or any of that kind of stuff about it. And
Right.
and also, if you're the manager of promotions, don't you have resources to make flyers? You know, to do these things. You know, I remember back like when in the '90s when we were young kids back then.
Mm,
You know, you would see a flyer that the guy who's putting the show on would make,
yeah.
right? You know, it
Yeah.
wasn't up to the band to like go to some town locally and flyer for their show, you know.
Yeah. No, they would, but
Yeah, but I mean, if you're doing a U.S. tour and you live in Boston, you're not going to fly out to L.A. to like, like flyer the whatever. You know what I mean? It's like there is some level of responsibility that the promoter has to let people know about it, besides just putting it on the website. You know?
would be crazy if you did that. Like you spend like 50 grand of your own money, like going from
Yeah,
the city to city and out flyers.
yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, but anyway, that's
Anyway,
yeah, I don't want to complain too much about these things.
yeah, that's what we're here for. You checked out anything cool since we last spoke like 2 weeks ago?
Film wise, no, I haven't really been watching a whole lot of stuff besides Game of Thrones, actually.
Really?
Yeah, me and the wife are doing a rewatch of that entire thing and House of the Dragon because the new House of the Dragon thing is launching in June, so we want to,
Mm.
be caught up on everything. I finished reading the first installment of Book of the New Sun, Shadow of the Torturer, so that's done. And I'm going to be continuing with that series, but I'm making a brief sort of detour into the Joe Abercrombie First Law trilogy. And right now I just started reading the first book in that series called The Blade Itself, which is excellent. And Selden Hunt, our mutual friend, has been encouraging me to get into the world of Joe Abercrombie. And
Hmm.
so now I finally, much to my chagrin, have gotten into it now. And it's fucking fantastic, man. If you're into like grim dark fantasy, sword and sorcery stuff, highly recommend it. I slept on it for months after Selden told me about it, and I just started the Blade itself, and it's like definitely page turning.
Hmm.
It's got all the shit that you like, I like that, like swords, wizards, magic, brutality, violence, like all that stuff. It's cool.
Nice. And Selden will not steer you wrong.
No, no, definitely. Just that I think there's at the time that he recommended that stuff to me, I was veering more towards like, kind of cosmic horror, like Legati, like that kind of thing. Um, and then so I think maybe as a result of doing all the Kane stuff with Carl, I kind of like got more interested in reading that stuff again. And now that's like I'm been on a pretty steady diet of all this stuff for the last couple months.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. I haven't checked out many films either. We had a snow day here last week, which
Yeah.
I'm sure you did as well.
Oh yeah.
Pretty brutal storm kind of came, which is crazy because Friday I went to sleep and it was, hey, it's just gonna rain. It's gonna miss us. And Saturday I woke up to it's gonna be complete chaos
Oh
starting
wow.
tomorrow.
Oh no.
And so yeah, everything was canceled Monday. I had a tattoo appointment that got canceled. Work was canceled. So perfect time to do, catch up on things. Instead of catching up on things, I watched two Nicholas Winding Refn films. I
Oh,
watched Drive and Only God Forgives. I'm sure you're
both are
familiar with them.
both are excellent. I love both of those movies.
Totally agree. Drive obviously got a lot of attention, got a lot of love. Only God Forgives got completely shit on by critics and the audience. I think most people really hated that film. They expected the director of Drive to do something, more in line with that. But if you're familiar with Nicholas Winding Refn films, you know that Drive is not the rule, it's the exception. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
totally.
that's the one that kind of sticks out in his body of work is something a little bit different. And Only God Forgives is a little bit more in tune with what we've come to know about Nicholas Winding Refn and what he does.
I think Drive, I think you recommended this would be a good candidate for our neo noir. Maniacs episode.
Yes, yes. Spoiler alert. It's a fucking great movie. And only God forgives us too. It is something different, different pacing, different everything, a little bit more art house.
Yeah, there's like some musical segments in that, which, it's a pretty long running film, I think. Like the
Actually,
program, like,
I think it's like an hour and a half. It just feels
oh,
quite
okay.
long.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched it multiple times over the years. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I do too. So I checked out those two films. Been still at it, going record collecting.
Oh,
Went
cool.
to a new store in the Northampton, Mass area called Electric Eye Records. Ever been there?
No.
Really great store. Small, like maybe like the size of like someone's living room. Like it's quite small, but incredibly well curated. It picked up some really cool stuff. Picked up some Residence records, some Snakefinger. You familiar with Snakefinger?
I think you told me about Snakefinger. That's the only way I found out about them. Yeah.
He was very associated with the Residents. So
Yeah.
if you're familiar with what they do, Snakefinger is not too far removed from that. Very weird avant-garde compositions. Cool stuff. And I never actually owned anything by him. So it was fun to pick that stuff up. Also got Godflesh Street Cleaner. You know, it's one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
things you're like, oh yeah, here it is, and I need to own that. Landmark album in
Yeah.
heavy music, I would say.
I'm actually wearing a Godflesh Street Cleaner hoodie right now as we record
Nice.
this.
There you go. And I picked up the Pinback record, Summer in Abaddon.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I, fuck yeah, I love that band, man.
Yeah.
That whole 3 Mile Pilot, Blackheart, Pinback, that stuff's always on heavy rotation for me.
Yeah, I'm down with that stuff. I like we've discussed that before, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like my new hobby, it seems, collecting vinyl, going to record stores and just digging through stuff for hours.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's keeping me sane, I guess. But that's really about it, man. I bought a Criterion movie that we're going to talk about in a
Okay.
little bit.
Which one?
Well, are
Tell
we
us,
supposed?
there's no secrets here, man.
All right, the man who wasn't there, the Coen
Okay.
Brothers film
Yeah.
from 2000, 2001, somewhere around there, which I haven't seen since it came out, and I really loved it. I'm very excited to go back to it, and I'm excited to talk about it. We don't get to talk about
Yeah.
directors like the Coen Brothers and Nicholas Winding Refn too much on Necromaniacs.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this whole other neo-noir thing is like I think really opening it up for that that we're doing.
There was some debate. Was Seven a straight up Necromaniacs episode or a
Yeah,
neo noir?
that was a straight up horror film, if you ask me, man.
I completely agree. I love the episode, by the way. That's
Thanks.
one of my favorite films of all time.
But that is a testament sort of to how very closely adjacent neo-noir is to horror, Like that you
Absolutely.
could have went either way with that, but in my opinion, it's a horror film.
Completely agree. But
Yeah.
this was like you pointed out the 90s and horror was sort of a bad word you didn't want associated with your film.
Yeah, no, definitely. But like Silence of the Lambs and Seven to me are clearly horror films, and I know that when they came out, they were being touted as thrillers, which I think is false.
Yeah, absolutely. Seven for a mainstream big budget studio movie, that is a one grim, dark
Yeah,
film.
man. And I remember like even I like sort of as a lead up to that movie, I wanted to have a little bit more background for that episode, and so I did watch some commentary and listen to some commentary about it. And Fincher was even saying that he wanted to terrify people, even with the title sequence.
He certainly did. That
Yeah.
became like the film that everyone else was trying to catch up to.
Well, yeah, and also I think I in over the years I could see the influence of that movie, even in like True Detective season one and like Hannibal, the Hannibal TV series, like stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the 90s, it seems like every other year there was a film that came out, and every other film after was chasing that. Like Seven, you saw a bunch of Seven clones, and then Pulp Fiction, you saw a bunch of films trying to be that, and then of course The Matrix.
Yeah.
Like, but Seven was definitely one of those 90s films that caught people off guard, and then the studios were like, we need a film like that.
Right on, man. So let's give a rundown of the other horsemen before we do our call for this week and move on. So if you listen to this show, you're definitely on board. And if you're not on board, you should be on board with the horsemen of the podcasting apocalypse. Kicking everything off every other Monday, we've got Brandon Legion's Horror Wolf 666. Up next on Tuesday, Jackie Smith brings you Into the Necrosphere, the greatest extreme music podcast in the land. And I say that with full confidence. Wednesday, we've got Everything Went Black, which is my podcast. We've got Iblis Manifestations, brought to you by Cheyenne of the band Trivax. Thursday is Necro Thursday, where the Necromaniacs horror podcast comes at you, but it's also day one of Soul Knox. Carl Hikara brings you all things sinister, macabre, and occult. Friday, we have Spitball Media featuring John Draper, Mike Scandato's brother. Interesting how they have different last names, though.
Hmm.
Yeah, as well as Shaheen and Beach O'Brien. Saturday is a day off, so go out. We're verging into the spring months, but it's not quite there yet, at least here in the Northeast.
Not
So,
at all.
think about sunshine and those types of things on Saturday, because on Sunday, the sinister minister Carl Hikara returns to darken your days with Soul Knox, day two. And Carl and we're plugging along at our Darkness Weaves collaboration. The Wagner stuff is coming to a close. We've got just a few more months of this left, and then we're going to be finished with the work of Carl Edward Wagner. But we're going to be picking things up with other collaborations where we're going to be getting into the world of dark fantasy and sword and sorcery, and as well as some more weird fiction. So there you go. That's a full week of content for you guys.
All right. Can that be it? Can we not talk about this movie now and just end the episode?
I sense a certain vibe here. So anyway, but so we also have a call in line, the Necro number, which is 908-913-0782. 908-913-0782. So that's the Necro number for the Necro phone. So if you want to give us a shout, please do so at that number. And we have a call this week from Jason from Seattle.
Hey, Necromaniacs. This is Jason from Seattle. I just finished your episode, the Faceted movie, Beneath. Really, I had a weird time with that. When it first came out, I was recommended it by a friend, and I looked at the synopsis and some of the stills of the movie, and I thought it was like a really cheesy sci-fi channel type movie, and my friend kept prodding me, and I finally watched it, and I actually ended up really liking it. I think it's very good too. I think, like you guys said, it's a little underbaked, but I think for what it is, I think it's a very, very good movie. Michael Fassenden is he's great. I finally actually just watched The Last Winter, watching or listening to your episode on that. Loved it. Yeah, he's great. I don't, he actually has a love for the, he has a love for the craft. I think it's great. I love what he does. Other than that, I was going to ask you guys, have you ever considered doing like episodes on like horror movie scores and soundtracks? I think that just with everybody's pedigree, that you guys would be really good at dissecting some like really choice horror movie soundtracks and scores. Like I could see you guys talking about the Terminator soundtrack for a really long time. Like I don't know. It was something I thought about. I don't know. I just wanted to float the idea to you. Anyway, always look forward to Thursdays. This is my favorite thing during the week. Hope you guys are staying warm, and be safe and take care. Bye.
Thanks for calling in again, Jason. Good to
Hell
hear from
yeah.
you. Yeah, man. So yeah, about Beneath, man. Yes. You know what? Honestly, it is definitely in that sci-fi realm, but I do agree it's a cut above all those films.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I was really trying to say. Like, this is not Sci-Fi Channel junk. It is definitely better than that. And I'm glad other people see that.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
a great I think it's a really fun movie and better than it's perceived. And Larry Fessenden needs more love from the horror community, I think.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him on Everything Went Black. So
That would be awesome.
yeah, we have
I'm,
some cool guests actually coming up over there. So
you do, man. Yeah, you
yeah,
were telling me about one. I was very surprised.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, it's keep if you don't listen to that, there's some film stuff coming up on Everything Went Black.
And that's what I really like about Everything Went Black. You never know who's going to pop up or what you're going to talk about.
Actually, I don't either sometimes until a week or so before the episode comes out. Yeah.
Right on, man.
That's a really interesting idea about film scores. I don't know if doing a full-on episode on it would be interesting enough for people, but maybe we could do some bonus content or something like that.
Yeah, I always mean to bring up the scores of the movies we talk about a little bit more. I think a lot of them sometimes just fade into the background, but there are some that definitely stand out, like a movie like It Follows.
Yeah, it's a disaster piece score for that. I think that's the guy who did it.
Yeah, I think you're something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Like, it'd be cool. Maybe once again, I said like I would be down to do these, but they might be cool like bonus episodes or something because I don't know if like an hour about it would be interesting to a lot of people. Let us know if we want to talk about it. Maybe we can do an episode talking about like Goblin scores or
Yeah.
John Carpenter scores or specific genre film like genres of different you know types of things like that. I mean I love film scores
Me too.
myself, and I would be able to talk about it for an hour. I just don't know how interesting it would be for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing I should point those films I watched, Drive and Only God Forgives, scored by the great Cliff Martinez. If you're a film score fan, check out his work. He did the Solaris remake for Steven Soderbergh. He does great stuff, like ambient, spacey, really, really, really cool shit.
See, there are a lot of things that we can talk about.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about an hour though. That's the thing.
yeah. I'm not sure if I have more to say than yeah. That was really good.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, thanks for calling in, Jason. Much appreciated.
I'm going to trust you, Samson. Suddenly, I'm not entirely sure you understand Latin.
So that brings us to this week's feature film, 28 years later, The Bone Temple.
yes, the fourth film in the 28 I guess franchise now.
Yeah. And the second film in this proposed trilogy that Alex Garland has written. This time around, directed by Nia DaCosta, who directed that wretched remake of Candyman, I believe, right?
Yes, she did. A much loved film by many. I agree with you. I thought it was terrible, but I have to say, well directed on some level. It is a nice looking film.
The directing wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
So Nia is off the hook for that. It just the movie concept and everything just was terrible, I thought. And
It,
especially the fact that the original was so incredible.
100% agreed. I saw her first film, Little Woods. It was good. I have not seen her Marvel movie. What is it? It's not Captain Marvel. Oh, The Marvels.
Yeah, I checked out on those films a long time ago, man.
Yeah, they all sort of started blurring together for me. It's just not really my cup of tea.
It's just like they turn the crank on those, man, and they just make money. It's like a money making operation.
Interesting though, her film was the first one to not turn a profit for Marvel. So whoops.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Written by Alex Garland.
the
Um,
great Alex Garland.
yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of his. So
Me
yeah,
too.
yeah. Release dates were January 13th, 2026 in the UK and January 16th, 2026 in the US. and the movie is 109 minutes long.
Oh, that's it. Wow.
We got some return characters. We've got Ray Fiennes as Dr. Ian Kelson. We've got Jack O'Donnell as Sir
It's
Lord Jimmy Crystal.
funny just saying that out loud.
Yeah. Alfie Williams returns as Spike.
Mhm.
Let's see, Chai Lewis Perry as Samson. He's like, that big guy. And I mean
Yeah.
that in a couple different senses.
It had to come up.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's about, I mean, there's a bunch of other people in here too, but like, those are like the main ones.
While we're, just talking about Nia DaCosta, I'll try to think of some positive things to say about this. The last time we did the 28 years later, we were talking about this not being directed by Danny Boyle, and he thought it needed to be someone British.
Yeah.
After seeing this, I think she did a good job matching the tone of the last one and the look of the last one. Like, I guess if you told me Danny Boyle directed that, I wouldn't have been really. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like she got the assignment. Like, it still felt very British to me.
I think she did a great job directing the film. Okay. To a certain extent, agree with you about it maintaining the same tone as Danny Boyle. I'm sorry, as Danny Boyle's
Yeah.
directing. Um, but there was like a certain war aspect that was missing in this one.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Like
yeah.
his constant cutbacks to uh older British films and people shooting arrows and things like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because Alex Garland has been like obsessed with war, like in his last few films,
Yeah.
including 28 years later.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like there was Civil War that came out, there was warfare, see, there's a theme here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was very much front and center, at least in the first half of 28 years later,
Mm.
with like the whole like feel that this is just the same old. It's like Britain is constantly at war with invaders.
Right.
Is like the theme of the first of this installment, and it which is in a large degree true. Like Britain has always been defending itself against either, the Vikings or, the Romans or various different, tribes, the Picts, or the Gaels or again, you know what I mean? Like there's always been like constant defense on the in the UK, and I feel like the infected were just another. They could have been the Romans, they could have been the Vikings, they could have been anyone, but they're the infected, and that was
Hmm.
like very very powerful part of the first film. Okay, now whether or not Danny Boyle's direction had anything to do with that, I mean, he directed that awesome scene, which I loved, but that felt absent from this. The Bone Temple. The Bone Temple was a different type of feel to it. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it tells a continuation of that story, but a different aspect of it. We only got
Yeah.
the Jimmies for what, 2 minutes in the last film?
Yeah. Yeah, and this movie is like straight full on this is their movie basically. This is the Jimmy Crystal show really, you know.
Yeah, it's really telling two stories, the Dr. Gelson story and the Jimmy story, and eventually they are going to converge.
Yeah.
And some characters from the last film are completely absent or kind of sidelined.
Yeah.
Um, it's yeah. Um, but I think she did a pretty good job directing the film, and for the most part, I think the performances are really good. I like that guy, Jack O'Connell, is that his name?
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
He's great. He was great in Sinners as the head
Yep.
vampire. He seems to have carved out a nice little niche playing like these sinister bad guys.
I mean, he is great as Jimmy, you know.
Yeah,
Sir Jimmy Crystal.
yes, I wish there was more to that character and this film in general, but we'll get there.
Well, being that this is like a relatively new film, I don't want to really get too deep into the spoilers necessarily of this film.
Yeah.
Want to kind of avoid that. And like I know when we did the first installment, we did like a spoiler-free section, and then we got into it. But this one, I think we were both a little bit underwhelmed by the this film. So it's like,
Well, I mean, I'll say this again to speak positively. I liked this more than the last one after a few days
really
of thinking about it.
interesting.
I didn't like it, but
Yeah,
I liked it more than I liked the last one. I thought um there's a lot of different stories you could tell set in this world. This is the one we got. And I'm not happy with it, but there were aspects of it, I guess, that appealed to me more. And maybe my expectations were too high for the last film, and I was more disappointed where I had no expectations for this other than that I was going to hate it, which I did, but there I still liked it more.
yeah. We also, when we were going over the cast, we left out one key member of the cast here,
Mhm.
which he doesn't show up till the end. Of course, spoiler, but we all know that he's in this movie anyway. Cillian Murphy returns. So, but
I really, really liked that. And
yeah,
actually, I was surprised. I had kind of completely forgotten
yeah.
about his character.
Well, there's been that's not just shouldn't be a surprise to anyone because they've been talking about him returning to this for like since the beginning. Since the beginning of the promotion of this film. So,
Oh,
but
okay. I
yeah,
ignored most of that.
yeah. But he's
Um,
he shows up in this movie.
I think having Alex Garland on board to write this really gave it like I mentioned before that she matched the tone of the first one. I also think a lot of that has to do with Alex Garland writing it, and it feels like a direct continuation in that sense. His vision is on full display here. You could tell like this was not okay, we need to make another one. Let's come up with something. You could tell this was planned out, I would say.
Well, I also think even that there's a trajectory, a character arc for everyone involved in this movie. And
Interesting.
from going back from the beginning to even Spike's dad, I think, is going to come back in the third one. He wasn't in this at all.
Wasn't even mentioned.
Wasn't even mentioned. Spike is out there on his own, rocking and rolling, trying to stay alive as a new member of the Jimmies, and at the end of the first one, I'm going to refer to that one as the first one in this trilogy, even
Sure.
though it's, not the first 28 Days Later movie. But you don't know. You kind of you don't really know where the Jimmies are at. Like you don't know if they're good or bad or neutral, right?
From their a brief appearance in the last film, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I
You know,
think they hard impose like I think the film tips its hat like these are bad guys in subtle ways. You know, the upside down cross. Well, maybe it's not so subtle. They look ridiculous. But yeah. Anyway, sorry.
yeah. The upside down. I think like it's not explicitly like denoted whether or not they were evil. All right.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Okay.
okay, they got like some satanic imagery, whatever. That's cool. Like maybe they're evil, maybe they're not. But like, because it's a crazy world they're in, right?
Exactly.
Um, but this installment really solidifies them as being completely evil, and Jimmy Savile being completely evil, or
Mm. Oh,
Jimmy Crystal rather. Jimmy Savile, yeah, the kid
also
who's
evil.
alive. This is also evil. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, almost immediately it clues us into how awful they are. You were talking about character arcs, and I'm glad you brought that up because Spike, the heart and soul, and basically the main character of the last film, I feel has no arc in this film. The Spike we see at the end of the movie is the Spike we see at the beginning of this movie. He's kind of sidelined in this film, and I thought that was a odd choice.
yeah, I agree with that. I guess I was thinking my impression of the three films, because there is going to be a third one, is that this was the story about like the Jimmy Crystal
Go, I guess.
and for Ian Kelson, all right, and both of those character arcs seem to come to a close. So, but that's a story that in the big picture had to be told though, and I think my impression is that Spike's story is going to continue more in the third installment. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, we'll see. I just thought it was really setting up something in the first half of the last film, this father and son thing, and then that gets derailed halfway through the first film. And then in this, Spike is a little bit more of an afterthought.
Yeah,
And this focuses loose more on the doctor and Jimmy. And honestly, I feel like both of them get a little shortchanged in this. I like the movie. There's two stories going on, and I felt like every time it jumped to the doctor stuff, the movie slowed down a lot for me.
I agree with that. Yeah.
It kind of ground to a halt. I think telling it from one perspective might have worked in the film's favor. I don't know. Maybe focusing on the Jimmies or focusing on the doctor.
Well, the important thing about the doctor is that he's been doing out there, he's been doing research, within his bone temple there,
Yeah,
he's been uh, interacting with the infected, specifically the alpha guy, right? I don't know if he actually has a name. I think it's just Alpha, right?
Samson.
Samson, there you go. Samson.
Yeah,
He's been shooting him up with some kind of sedative, and it's been real a morphine, I guess, right? Maybe morphine.
morphine. What he said was the main component
Right.
to this cocktail he was making, and interesting enough, Samson seems to be going to visit the doctor intentionally now, not to attack, but to get his fix.
Yeah. So he's slowly becoming addicted to morphine.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
as you do.
Yeah. But there's also like this aspect to where maybe there's a cure for this disease, where
Yeah,
which that I have a problem with.
me too. I got it just when I think about the Bone Temple in general, like how did this thing get? I mean, how is he not constantly under attack? He doesn't seem to be trying to hide. He had all this time to make this fucking temple when there's thousands of infected around. It's a little absurd to me, but whatever.
Well, they do show him getting attacked in the first film, and he
Yeah,
hides he hides in his bunker.
right. That's right.
And then he also like he shoots him up with this tranquilizer. So, they avoid that. I don't know. But like, in the second film, he's got Samson strung out on heroin basically. And, so
Basically, yeah.
so he returns to get shot up with drugs and hallucinate, and they develop this relationship.
Which it came across as goofy to me in some
Yeah.
aspects, like they're dancing and listening to Duran
80s.
Duran.
Yeah, 80s music.
Hey man, I love Duran Duran. Nothing wrong with that. But
No, the music they did in the 80s I thought was great.
yeah, I like the song they use, "Ordinary World." I like that song.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, and you're not alone. But yeah, okay. So the doctor's been out here by himself for 28 years, and it just seems overnight that he's gonna try this cure thing. It seemed a little rushed to me. That
I would like to have seen him show his calculations or something like that, or some kind of like book where he's writing notes down, or just that he's arrived at this conclusion after years of research.
Yeah, or like show like a quick scene of him dragging an infected back there and injecting him with something or giving him this cocktail.
Yeah, yeah.
Something. It just
That
seems to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, that would have been more, I think, believable, and also would have like, played into the more gothic element that could have been present in this film, like a Frankenstein kind of thing, or like some element that I think was missing that could have served the film better if he had done something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Like a little bit of like a mad scientist or
Yeah,
something. Because he certainly looks like one.
yeah, they frame him up that way, and I just think I think that was definitely a misstep with him. Like the way that he was presented, I think was like a little bit of a failure in this film.
Yeah, I agree. And I again, like I just feel like these two main characters are a little undercooked. I don't feel like there is moments where you see insight into who they are and their psyche. Specifically, what I think is the best scene in the film is when the Jimmy and storyline and the Doctor storyline come together and they
Yeah.
have this little discussion. I thought that was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, well, that's the ideology of Jimmy Crystal is interesting, sort of, that he's a Satanist because his father was a man of the cloth. He's a Christian, like a deacon or something like that.
Right. But I mean, Jimmy's a fraud and he
Yeah,
knows he's a fraud. Like he doesn't believe his own bullshit.
that's right. Yeah, and I think that could have been developed way more than it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, the way Jimmy acts is a little inconsistent. Like seems to let Spike get away with things that I don't think he'd let the other people get away with.
Yeah,
And that to me is it could be like a maybe a plot hole, but to me it's showing like maybe he has a little concern for this kid or sees something in this kid, but you don't really get that in this film. Like you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Um, so his whole trip is that he's the son of Satan, basically.
Yeah.
Jimmy Crystal, which is like, sure, if you're running a cult, which he is, the Jimmys are definitely a cult. They dress this thing, have a very specific way of dressing. They wear these wigs. They have 100% belief in Jimmy Crystal as, the supreme leader of this group.
Well,
They,
most of them do.
most of them do, but like all cults, there's people who have their doubts. But he demands like full obedience from everybody.
And he does that through like fear and violence.
Yeah, fear and violence. So all groups that depend on fear and violence, have a shelf life. Really, that's history shows that as being like a not a very reliable way of ruling people.
Inter
So
Interesting too that most of the Jimmies, I would have liked to know how he got like they seem to be young. Maybe they don't remember the world before
yeah,
the invasion. Maybe they're all about, I would say like in the 30-year-old range.
I would say that. Yeah, late 20s, 30s. Yeah.
Yeah. So that to me is interesting. They don't know anything else. So like they don't see through how full of shit this guy is.
And even their idea of Satan too is probably just post, post epidemic here or post, infected. So it's
Yeah.
his version of Satan and Christianity.
Yeah, there's no internet to do your own research on. There's no
Yeah.
JRE to do your own research on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
There's,
so they're more apt to believe this nonsense. But the female Jimmy, I think they all have like surnames. Like the one of them's Jimmy Shite and one of them's Jimmy Ink. Or
yeah.
one of the girl in the red jumper seems to see through him, but also kind of goes along with and believes the stuff he's saying, which again seems very inconsistent with who that character was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
they try to soften her as someone sympathetic, but you know she has taken part in horrible things.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like they show incredible violence that these people do on people for really no reason at all.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Um, this movie, the tone is a little messy. It's funny at times. It's sad, and it is disturbing. The violence in this film was shocking, I would say. I was not
Yeah.
expecting it to go there.
No, it was very, very jarring. And I would like to know why. Like, they don't really go into what his vitriol against any survivors are, really. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, he's just doing it just to do it, it seems.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain there's like the order of nine angles, who are like the more depraved shit you do, like the more closer to becoming a demon you are, like that sort of thing. Like there's that kind of like philosophical bent that cults like that have or organizations like that have where it makes sense. Okay, cool. They're gonna go out and shoot up a school or something like that because they just
Right.
want to they just are into chaos, you know what I mean, and evil, you know.
Yeah.
But there's no ideology like that with these guys. Like they don't have, it's not like the more evil shit we do, we get closer to Satan or whatever, or their version of Satan. It's not explicitly like their mayhem has no real point, you know?
Right. I think the point is for Jimmy to maintain power over these people. Maybe. I
Yeah, it's not clear.
No, it's really not clear.
Yeah,
And I really like the violence, especially that one specific scene. It was upsetting, and I almost felt like it went too far in this film. In a film
yeah,
like Martyrs,
right.
it needs to go that far.
Yeah,
In this, it feels really out of place
yeah,
in it
no, I agree.
in a 28, whatever later film. It was a bit much, and that scene in the barn seemed to go on forever.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely extreme for this type of film, um, and kind of like gratuitous for no reason at all.
Yeah, I thought so too. And then we get another character that just sort of appears and then she's out of the movie. You don't, maybe she'll be back if there's a next one, but she's set up to be something and then gone out of the movie.
Yeah,
Don't know what happens to her, which strange. I thought she would return in some capacity, would have some bearing on the plot, but it didn't.
yeah.
There's a lot of that going on in these two films. People, characters just kind of come and go.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I can justify that is thinking that okay, we're telling like a bigger story here, and like they may come back, you know, like in, in the next installment of it. I don't know. Like I haven't. Well, I'm reserving that criticism until the third one comes out, and I am going to see the third one, even though this one didn't really size up too well for me.
Oh, I'm gonna see the third one for sure. Just, if Alex Garland is involved, I'll see it.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I mean,
I'm
only
a
if he's writing
completist.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have to finish the journey with this one for sure.
I am truly curious to where this series is gonna go.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
totally.
sheer morbid curiosity would drive me to see the next one. But I feel like that whole scene at the barn, that could have been the entire film about
Interesting. No,
the
interesting.
the
Okay.
Jimmies and these group of survivors, like a funny games thing or like a home invasion kind of film. That to me, there's an entire film to be made from that, I think. And it's just this too long scene in this movie that is disjointed and all over the place.
Right. You know, maybe now is a good time to put the spoiler alert break.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's okay. So this gives us a good idea of like, Jimmy Crystal, Spike's involvement, what's going on with Samson and the doctor. So that's your basic setting for the film. There's like a working on a cure, like this kind of thing.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
The real sort of climax of this film is the Jimmys meeting up with the doctor and Samson. Okay, and one of the people, one of the Jimmys, talks about how she thinks that she saw Satan, which is actually, allegedly Jimmy's dad. And he's like, oh, yeah, where? So
This is what I mean. Like, this whole bit is funny.
it's funny. It's funny that they because, let's remember, the doctor rubs like, was it iodine all over his body? So he's red,
Yes. Yeah.
and then his necropolis that he lives in, the ossuary of bones is has a satanic look to it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So they want to go meet Satan. They want to go meet the devil, right?
Yeah, what's funny too is that we see Jimmy making this shit up on the fly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
totally.
like I was gonna ask you, you're more like in tune to occults and things. Like, is anything that is coming out of his mouth from text, or is he just like completely like riffing?
Yeah, it's like the Slayer version of Satanism. Right? I mean, It's like, like,
That's great.
yeah, it's like not really, it's like little bits and pieces of the Christian idea of Satan and, that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, he comes across as almost like a buffoon when he's speaking.
yeah, it's like Manson, very Manson-esque. You know what I
Hmm,
mean? Like where Manson pretty much made everything up on the spot too. Like he wasn't connected to any kind of ideologies or anything. He was just a grifter, and that's basically what Jimmy Crystal is. He's a grifter, and really the only if you think about it, like his only religious exposure is through his dad, his father. So he only knows some version of the Christian idea of Satan, and the devil and evil and like all this sort of stuff. And he just kind of made the rest up.
yeah, again, there's something there. Like the world stopped when he was 8, so that's what he remembers. He's sort of building this cult on things that happened 28 years ago. Like, like him, like talking about the Teletubbies. That's where it all stopped for him.
Yeah, totally.
And his dad being a priest, that's where it all ended. His dad saying these were the demons coming.
Well, I mean, what would have been interesting too is like if he would have went like full like Old Testament with like the book Mark, the book of Mark 5 or something like that, where he's like, this is the apocalypse and there's going to be a rapture and these infected are, that would have been sick. I would have been down for that story. Where
Sure.
he's taking some kernel of Christianity and like pushing it into applying it to this like chaotic world he's in.
Yeah, but instead we got, like you said, a grifter who's clearly making this shit up as he goes along. So when she says she sees old Nick, he's like, and like they go to scope it out, and he goes, "Yep, that's my dad. Got temples everywhere."
Yeah,
um, it's funny.
it
It's
is
really,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I like how sort of female Jimmy is like just kind of rolling her eyes. She's like, that, like telling Spike, this guy's full of shit, right?
Yeah. Jack O'Donnell rules in this movie though, by the way.
Fuck yeah, he's great. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, there are performances in this movie that make it tolerable to watch, and his is definitely one of them. Again, he got the assignment. Like, you think you're this cool, charismatic cult leader, but you're a fucking idiot. And he plays it very well.
Yeah. Like his acting is incredible. I mean, Ray Fiennes is always great in movies.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, and he's actually this scene that's coming up, you can tell he's having a lot of fun with it too.
Absolutely. And I said this is the best part of the movie, and I mean it. The meeting of these two, it is tense, funny, sad, heartfelt. It's a lot of things in one.
Yeah.
Probably tough to pull that off, but Nia DaCosta does it.
So Jimmy goes down to meet up with Dr. Kelson, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh no, you guys got to stay behind. I got to go down there and talk to him first before we all go down." Right?
It's good thinking on his
Yeah,
part.
quick on his feet.
Yeah.
So he kind of explains the deal to Dr. Kelson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to make them believe that you're actually Satan. You know?
Right. But I mean, this scene, I mean, it's sort of them feeling each other out.
Yeah,
And the doctor, I think Jimmy thinks he has the upper hand, but the doctor does. The doctor is smart. He sees this guy for what he is almost immediately with just a few things like, well, wait, you said your dad's Satan. He's figuring this guy out quickly. He's a doctor. Maybe he's got like a background in psychiatrics, something like that. But he's got this guy's number.
yeah, and also besides that's all true, but also remember too, Dr. Kelson existed before he
Yes,
affected, so he has a worldly just experience, of people and how people, cheat each other and lie and stuff like that.
absolutely. And it's telling like he likes the doctor and he says he's like, I quite like you. I don't think I've ever liked anyone before.
Yeah, yeah, and that makes things even worse for what happens later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The fact that the doctor would go along with this plan seems absurd.
Well, I mean, also, he threatens him though too,
Right.
to go along with this too. So he kind of doesn't have a choice in the matter.
Right, but he's gonna go along with it until he realizes that one of the members is Spike, and then comes up with what should have been his plan all along.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Which, I mean, but I really liked the scene with those two together. I wish the movie kept that consistency throughout the whole film. Because
Well,
what comes next is, I mean, it's my jaw was on the floor.
one more thing about those two, O'Donnell and Fiennes, like that is just legit, like two excellent actors working together.
Absolutely.
You know, really,
Absolutely.
and like I really would love to have been like to see all this. I guarantee you that a lot of that there's like some improvisational going on, and like
Yeah,
riffing, and I loved that interaction.
I did too. It somewhat saved the movie for me.
Yeah,
And then the next scene happened. But
dude.
yeah, you're right. It's so naturalistic the way they talk to each other.
Yeah,
It feels very like a guy talking to a shrink almost.
yeah, basically. The next scene will either have been the greatest thing you've ever seen or the stupidest thing you've ever seen, depending on your perspective and where you saw the movie. I saw this in the theater, so I had a different
Ah,
experience with it. There was like it was freezing out and there was like no one in the theater, and I watched this pretty much by myself, and it was fucking awesome on a huge sound system and everything. So so they roll up. He's created this completely hellish scene with his necropolis that he's living in. And it's like flames and fucking, you know. Oh, he does have a sound system, okay? It's
yeah,
powerful, but to pull off what he's doing, you would need like some kind of like PA, I imagine. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
So Satan, old Nick, appears to them in the flesh as Ray Fiennes takes on the role of what their perception of Satan would be. So the number of the beast by Iron Maiden comes out.
Yeah, he's
That's
got a record collection.
got a pretty sick record collection. Duran Duran, Iron Maiden.
Yeah, nice. I'd like some of those records.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like this completely over the top presentation of what their idea of Satan would be,
To say the least.
to say the least. So, like I said, it either hits you as the greatest thing ever or the most ridiculous thing ever. So, you know, it. I'll leave that to you guys to decide.
I think you know where I landed on it. I thought this was the most absurd thing I'd ever seen. And, I was thinking when I was watching this scene, if these films weren't tied to the 28 Days Later film, if they were their own thing, I might like them a little more. But it is, so I don't.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I don't
that
know.
that scene in a completely different, like it might make sense, but in this, it is so jarring and so out of place. I mean, we just watched a family get skinned alive. And now Ray Fiennes is looking like his Voldemort character from the Harry Potter films,
Yeah,
dancing around and miming,
lip syncing to Number of
Bruce
the Beast.
Dickinson. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fucking absurd.
and he blows some of that morphine concoction on those guys too, so they're even more like kind of
Yeah,
like,
but they are jumping around and hooting and hollering, and
dude.
Jimmy doesn't know what's gonna happen, and he's loving it.
Yeah, yeah. That part ruled, where he's just like woohoo, like this is like.
Yeah, this is
Like,
great.
this is great, like. And now let me think about it. None of them have probably ever heard heavy metal either.
That's a good point. I thought and that's another thing that led me to believe like these people were either toddlers or not born when the world actually existed. Because you would have to be to fall for this.
Yeah, 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 definitely. They have not heard heavy metal music at all, so
Yeah.
they're hearing this like completely wild sound coming out of this like sound system.
It's crazy too. Like it's Iron Maiden, which is fairly tame to what like when you think of like satanic
Well,
evil metal.
yeah. I mean, like of course we got Slayer. Would have been
I was thinking more like, I don't know, like some Norwegian black metal
Well,
band.
yeah, but if this happened in the 2000s, we would have had all those like second wave black metal bands like
Yeah.
Emperor, Mayhem, Burzum, and all that. That'd have been sick if he did like a Burzum track or something.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah,
So yeah, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
but real quick though about just Kelson's record collection
Hmm.
probably didn't have Norwegian black metal in it.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maiden, yes, because Maiden, they're like, you know, they're a household name, really.
Next time I go to the doctors, I'm going to ask him if he's got an Iron Maiden album in his collection.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Maiden are the kings, really, if you ask me, but like they're definitely commercial. Like they're like a big household band.
Yeah. So is Slayer, but honestly, Iron Maiden was the right
Yeah,
choice.
but dude, Slayer are still like a little there's still something having seen them last year, they're still like a little evil though, too.
Yeah.
There's still something evil about them, even though they are like a, big mainstream band.
Yeah. I mean, they have a couple of platinum records, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's still something fucking evil about their music though.
Maybe it's Kerry King's tattoos. I don't
I don't, dude,
know.
I'm telling you, man, live, I saw them live. I had the same feeling. It was awesome. But
Yeah, Dick, yeah, you know my stand. I've
yeah,
never
I know.
really been a
I know.
metal guy.
Yeah.
Um, Maiden's cool. Like I don't listen to it a ton, but it's fine if I hear it. I enjoy it.
Yeah. So they all have their masks on and there's some interaction between Jimmy and Kelson and but
Again, funny.
funny, yep, and when Kelson recognizes Spike by his eyes, not so
Mm.
much he still has a mask on. So this is like where the whole plan gets derailed a little bit.
Yeah, and the doctor starts thinking on his when Jimmy is saying, "Oh, what are your commands?" and he's leading him like, "So you want me to, keep raping and killing, and you want these guys to follow me no matter what?" And you can see the conflict on the doctor's face.
Yeah, because he sees this Spike who we met in the last film with his mother, and all that. He doesn't want him to go down this path.
Right. And I mean, the doctor also says he doesn't fear for his life. So that may like, okay, he's going to go along with this, but he has an ulterior motive. But that ulterior motive, it comes up on the fly when he realizes that Spike, he was going to let those people go,
Yeah, this is true. Yep.
which it seemed very out of character for him. I wasn't buying it.
Yeah, I hear you about that. That's interesting. I also was thinking about that too. It's like he was gonna like let these guys continue their reign of terror.
For
Um,
what? Yeah, like
yeah,
his he gave Samson what he hoped was the cure. He's not fearing for his life. Why let these people continue? The morphine's gonna run out. He's got nothing left. So why would he have let them continue for what? It did not make sense.
yeah. Um,
So if he had the plan all along, what he eventually does, that would have made more sense. But they clearly showed that he made it up there on the spot about when he realizes it's Spike and goes, okay, I have one more command.
yeah, exactly. Uh,
Which Jimmy's reaction again, funny.
yeah, I mean,
Mm.
and this ultimately is Kelson's undoing here. You know,
He basically
this
sacrifices himself.
Yeah, he sacrifices himself so that like Spike can, get away from all this stuff. And then one of the other Jimmys, the female one who's kind of looking after Spike, they turn on Jimmy, Crystal, and then we don't know his ultimate his ultimate fate until the very, very end.
Yeah, he's crucified and he thinks Samson is his father coming to get him.
Yeah.
And this is something we haven't touched. Samson's character, his arc, he's definitely has an arc in this film.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And it's one of the better parts of the movie, watching him slowly regain his humanity.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. There's actually a really cool scene on this train, that train
Yes.
car where he is straight up not an infected anymore, and the infected try to kill him.
Yeah, that was great. His reality is bumping up against memories and creating this confusion where he's a child, he's an adult, he's on the train, and he's back in reality. Great, cool scene. I
Yeah.
liked it.
And
And
he was able to get out of that situation through all of his years fighting in glory kickboxing.
yeah.
He was able to like fight his way out of this situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like the infected turned on him. They no longer see him as one of them.
Yeah.
And this film also gives you a glimpse into what the infected see in their daily lives, which I have had conflicting feelings about that. They see other infected people, so why don't they just always attack each other?
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
I
Yeah.
thought that
I thought that
was
was
odd.
confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And they're cannibals now. Was that touched upon
That
in the last film?
that was touched upon in the last movie. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That
All right. I
wasn't
wasn't
clear in
sure.
the other ones though.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because in the first two, they're just beating the shit out of people and killing them.
Well,
Now they're eating
actually,
them.
at the end of the first one, right? It's implied that they're all going to starve to death.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, at the end of the first movie, you see them under like dying of hunger basically because they weren't cannibalizing or eating anything. They were just like losing their
Right.
minds and going crazy.
But it's been 28 years. Evolution's going to happen. I can buy that.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
true.
wasn't really made totally clear. And I think trying to understand the infection, that to me is something that should have been there all along. It just sort of comes up here,
Yeah, no, it's a good
kind of
point.
late into the film too.
Yeah,
Like, and they should have planted that seed way back in the last 28 years.
that's a good point. Yeah.
They don't though.
One of the things on a personal level that fucking got me at the end, what I thought was cool, was how just the death of Kelson.
Mm.
Where he's like, I'm like, fuck, what a great way to die. Like, like
Well, he's at peace.
he's at peace. He's staring up into this like beautiful moonlit sky, surrounded by these flames and skulls, and fucking, it's just awesome.
Yeah, it's the movie is very metal.
Yeah, it is very metal. That's like a very metal way to die, I think. You
Like
know?
you would expect someone like more tuned into metal would have made this. You know what I mean? But for someone like Nia DaCosta, I don't know if she's a metalhead. I shouldn't say it, but um, it was just like a 28-year-old kid who was like really into like metal, like a Joe Begos type of dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
totally.
that seems to be the energy that like would be, but it definitely has this like I can see like dudes like headbanging, giving the devil horns watching this.
I was stoked when I watched that whole point. I enjoyed it. I mean, I recognize how ridiculous it is, but I also really was because I'm alone in a movie theater in a Saturday
Yeah.
afternoon. It's like fucking this killer sound system and this big screen and all these like flames and evil and it was just killer.
Yeah. And then we get that cool little stinger at the end, which
Yep.
made my heart soar a little bit. Like, oh, there, Jim, he made it. He's here. His
Yeah.
daughter. Where's
Yep.
his wife? We don't know.
That I know. I was hoping to see her too, man.
I was too,
Her
man.
name's Selena, I think her name was.
Selena, yep.
Yeah. Like maybe she's there. Maybe she's out gathering herbs or something. Who knows? But
Yeah.
so yeah, so Spike and the female Jimmy, whatever, I forgot her name. They escape and they're wandering across the countryside and they are spotted by Jim and his daughter. Jim is living in a peaceful life in a cabin with his daughter and hopefully his wife or
Mm,
girlfriend or whatever. And they have these like barriers set up around them and like a good vantage point so they can see if anyone's trying to attack them or anything.
right.
And it's kind of like there's a question of whether or not they should go down and help them, but they decide to go down and help.
Yeah. Well, Jim says, of course we help them.
Of
So
course.
Jim has maintained his integrity these 28 years. He's still a good person.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we got hope for the third film. I'm imagining that Cillian Murphy will play like a bigger role, like his character of Jim. Will,
I'm really glad that that's what they did with that character. Him being called Jim, I was really like, oh man, if he does come back, he's going to be like the real leader of the gang or something absurd. But no, they left Jim alone, which
well, on like a larger scale idea, I think that, obviously there's the dark Jim and the light Jim.
mm,
So that's kind
yeah,
of
because we don't know that Jimmy's dead. I mean, it's strongly implied,
Well,
but it
he's
doesn't.
hanging he's crucified upside down,
Yes,
and
it's not good.
no, it doesn't look good for him. And
Yeah.
then, well, you know what, dude? Honestly, and Samson's rolling up to him,
Mhm.
but Samson, for all we know, might free him.
Yeah, I mean, it does show him attacking him, but we're seeing that from Jimmy's point of view, and we can't really rely on what he's seeing.
Yeah,
So we don't know. Maybe he set him free. Samson is human now,
yeah,
or somewhat human.
yeah. So maybe we do get Jimmy Crystal in the third one, and there's a confrontation between the dark Jimmy and the light Jimmy. I don't know.
That
Maybe.
seems like something. Seems like somewhere Alex Garland would go.
I really hope so. Um, like I said, I'm on board for all three of these. The second one, this one didn't ring with me as much as the first, and
Interesting.
yeah, and the third one, let's see. Hopefully, you know, I would love to get Danny Boyle back in the fold, but I don't know if he's going to be involved in this or not.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was involved with this on in a producer level.
Yeah,
Um, I guess it shows he doesn't need to come on board as director, but be nice to see him finish what he started.
I agree. Yeah. So
Danny
what do
Boyle.
you
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry. No, I was just going to ask you what you would score this at.
Interesting. Before we talked, I was standing firm at a 1. Talking to you about it, I'm going to go higher. I'm going to give it a 2.
Yeah.
I just strongly disagree that this is the way to go with these films. Very, very weird choices made, but this film had I don't know, there was aspects of it that I really liked. Whereas the last one, I mean, after like the first 40 minutes, I was just fucking enraged. Like, this is like not on board. This had a little bit of more like, like the scene with Ray Fiennes and Jack O'Connell's great. There's some cool ideas going on, but it was too absurd
Yeah.
and too off in the wrong direction. But there is stuff that I liked about it. And I do think this is a better film than the last one.
Oh.
I really believe that.
Okay. I did not really enjoy this film. I'm going to give it a 3,
Okay.
a little bit higher than you. I think if you're on board with, you definitely have to see this if you're, going through this whole process of the story. I mean, definitely go watch it, but I probably won't be returning to this movie anytime soon.
Yes, me neither.
Yeah. So it's, it was part of the story. I watched it. I had high hopes, did not meet my expectations. But it's definitely worth checking out, even if you want to just, the Iron Maiden scene's pretty sick. So
I will agree that it needs to be seen.
yeah, yeah. When I was watching it, I was like, what I can't believe I'm seeing this. It's just like so funny to me, but
It was like having a dream. You ever have a dream you're watching a movie and you're like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what I was like. Am I fucking dreaming? What's happening?
Yeah. No, it's kind of, yeah, it was fun, but I also acknowledge how absurd it was.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was very absurd. I gotta say, Nia DaCosta, like, I do look forward to what she does next. I think
Yeah.
she has a great sense of visuals. She got great performances out of pretty much everyone. I can't think of a bad performance in the film, really. So yeah, curious where she goes. I mean, she's directed a couple of flops in a row, unfortunately, but we'll see her again.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for listening, everyone.
All right, take care.
I left alone. My mind was blank. I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Can I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? Just what I saw in my old dreams were the reflections of my Walkman staring back at me.